Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Evan, and I'm a dumb dad.
Hey, everybody. My name is Kevin, and I'm a dumb dad.
Hey, dummy.
Hey, dummy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome in, people of watching this on YouTube. Welcome in, people at the gym, in your car.
On your work commute?
On your work commute, your 10-minute breaks. If you schedule them 3 to, I don't know, whatever. Welcome in.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. That's where I was going. That's where I was going, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I was waiting for you to go there.
I was responsible.
I was waiting for you to go to the bathroom.
I went before I left. Mm-hmm. Okay? How about that? Are your kids good at that? My kids used to be really against it. Well, my littlest.
Washing the hands?
No, just saying, hey, go to the bathroom before we leave. And it's like, I don't have to go. And then they get so mad about even the suggestion of it. Now they do it, no problem. I don't know when that switch happened.
Only recently. That has happened. It has definitely been I don't have to go. I don't have to go.
Yeah.
I will say most of the time it's not their fault. You know, like most of the time I'm like, come on, guys, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. We get in the car, we drive. And like, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom. And I was like, yeah, I didn't ask.
I didn't ask. It's also why I got a car toilet. Yeah. So
I do have a car toilet. Car toilet.
You know,
Make sure you clean it.
Don't forget about it. Because then you'll be selling your car. I have a car toilet.
You got one?
Well, no. Do
you have a shopping bag?
So it's double lined Target bags. My wife got one when I don't even remember why.
What does that mean when I say you got one and you said no?
Because I would have said no.
Oh.
I just don't like the idea of a toilet in the car.
I don't like the idea of having to find a place
that a million other people have used, and then but then you give the opportunity to carve your name into a toilet seat. You know,
see what I'm not selling it.
I never have understood that. You know, I get graffiti. I get it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's you're a good artist and your canvas is the public wall, or whatever. I've never understood carving your name or a tag in the toilet seat.
You want people to know that you and Tandy are the shit.
You put it on the wall of the bathroom. Uh-huh. You put it on the tree, right?
Uh-huh.
You spray paint a wall of the side of a building, whatever. You put it on a toilet seat, everyone's just going to put their bare ass on your name. I don't understand that part of it.
Might be into that.
There's a lot of people out there that are into that. I like to think that the
graffiti in the bathrooms is cut down in the age of smartphones. Don't you? It's mostly got to be a lot of it's got to be out of boredom. They don't have a shampoo bottle to read.
Boredom, attention.
Because they're not home.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
When you're at home, I'd read the shampoo bottle.
My son asked me
top
today,
to bottom.
Why do people write or paint on walls? And it was like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Hold on, let me find the video from 3 years ago of you doing it.
Yeah. It was part of my, let's jump right into it. Because I didn't have a significant dumb dad moment this week. I didn't have anything that I thought, oh man,
it's not about,
I have to tell Kevin this.
It's not about what you think.
I know.
The dumb dad moment's never been about how you judge your moments.
I know, but I mean, I like you. I know you come to the podcast like, sorry, what did I do this week that that didn't go as well as I thought, or that didn't think that through, whatever, something like that. And I even leaving the house, I was like, babe, what's my dumb dad moment? I can't think of something. And she was like, and she sat there for like 10 minutes and couldn't really think of anything. Mm-hmm. But I sort of brought it up to you today. When I got here, we were chatting a little bit about just, I kind of had one of those days. I was like, I had like a frustrating day. And there wasn't any one thing that happened today that made me like over the top or overly frustrated or anything. But it was more of like an overall, just at the end of the day, I was kind of just a little bit annoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, we all get there.
Yeah, we all get there, and which is fine. I knew it, and I those are the moments I think, like, gotta remember it's not the kid's fault or that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I wasn't even, I don't believe being short with anybody or my kids or anything. I did it the other day. That's part of it. Was like sort of had a dumb moment the other day. We were at the mall, and my wife wanted to try on clothes, which makes it really hard when you have kids. And she's the default parent, and so whenever we're shopping or anything, I want to go look at the men's section. She wants to go look at the women's section, whatever. They follow her. It's hard to get any one of them like, why don't you come hang out with me for a second. Like they just always gravitate towards her.
Well, yeah. When you're like, I want to go look at new shoes, they're like, we're good here.
Yeah, but my wife's looking at clothes too. It's not like we're doing anything different.
The wife's clothes are brighter.
I mean, she's
they're brighter. They're more fun-looking clothes.
Man, she's cooler than I am. I'll say that. So she's going into the dressing room, and they're like trying to follow her in there. And I was like, I'll take the boy. You come with me.
Yeah.
And he like is waiting for me to like finish my conversation with her. So he's sitting in the middle of the dressing room aisle where all these people are like, I have 6. Can I have a room, please? Are you keeping that? I don't like this. I need a size. And he's just like sitting on the floor. Everyone's like stepping around him. And I was like, come on, man. And I kind of frustratingly said, like, get up. Let's go. Like, come on. We're going to leave this room now, And he was like, why are you already frustrated with me? And that felt bad. And that I felt really awful because he doesn't know that he's even in the way.
Yeah.
And so I felt bad when he said it that way because it was like, man, now he thinks like I'm mad at him and he doesn't even know why. And I wasn't even really mad at him. I probably just
the pants didn't fit.
I kind of snapped at him.
The pants didn't fit, and you were aggravated because you liked them, and it was the right size for you. You thought.
So today was kind of one of those days. It was just like I was just kind of like overall kind of frustrated. And we had to go pick up a Target order, and then I go pick up my wife, and then she got in the car and like she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And she was like, "Are you mad or frustrated or something?" And I was like, "Yeah," but I kind of just pointed to the back seat. And she was like, "Oh, okay." Like it's them, And but I was like, "But they don't know that." And she's like, "Okay." So it was just one of those moments where I was like, "This," but that was part of it. He was like, every question he asked, I answered the question followed by a why, sort of challenging the answer. And it's like, well, if you don't like or accept the answer, then why do you even ask me? But you're 8, so I get why you ask me. So this is all this kind of stuff that's going on in my head as I'm like, can you just shut the hell up for 2 seconds? I'm not trying to find your mom or picking up mom. I got to find where she is.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And part of that was, why do people draw on buildings or paint on buildings? And it was like, this was my answer. I don't know. Hang on a second, man. And then
hang on a second.
Yeah,
man.
because we were like pulling up to the building where my wife was. As that was like the last question he's asking me.
Yeah.
And that was my answer. Like, I don't know. Can you just give me a second, okay, man? And then I realized like 10 minutes later, I never answered him. And so I just never answered him.
Which is the move.
Yeah. So that was kind of my dumb dad moment. Was partially part of this week of just trying to remember sometimes when I've had a day that's not because of any one thing. It's just like, I'm kind of just... I need to go for a walk right now or something, but I can't because I'm in the car with them, and I got to remember like it's not their fault. They're
Do you find you get that way more with your son, who's older, than you do your daughter?
Yeah, and
I do as well, and I think it's
with your daughter
with my daughter, who's older, over my son, and it's so unfair. It's like an unfair thing that we do of like they're older. That's it. That's actually the only thing. It's not like they should know better. They shouldn't. They're still super young. And it's just that in the back of your mind, you're mentally prepared for your younger one doesn't know better in a lot more ways.
Yeah.
So you give them more grace and leniency. You still get so annoyed by them. I definitely do.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things like when they're both screwing around... You'll look at the older one. I won't say you, but I know I've looked at my older one and go, come on, what are we doing?
I know, yeah.
Like,
what are we doing? Or, it's weird because some stuff I do expect him to know.
Yes.
To a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Some things. Very limited number of things. And that list grows exponentially sometimes when you're frustrated.
When you're frustrated, it grows. And it's also, I feel like, it's funny because like it's a perfect example to say it's a list, and it is perfect to say that it grows as you get frustrated, especially because in a way that list should lessen when, let's say, they're having a great time. Like when my 2 kids are playing together and having a good time, and she gets excited by her younger brother getting excited about something, so they both make a poor choice that I could tell him he should know better, but he's 3.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't.
And I tell her, and to a degree, like, she should, but she shouldn't. She's a kid. She's having fun with her friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want her to be friends with her brother way more than I want her to know better.
Yeah. And get in good trouble.
Yeah.
Mix it up. I don't know what I'm.
Yeah, they didn't break anything.
The world
is
you're going to be so.
throwing a ball
Yeah.
in the house and it bumped into something and nothing significant happened. But you're still like, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you're like, right. And then
do we ever do this?
And looking at
do we
myself
ever do this in the house?
in the mirror going, really?
Yeah. I know.
Really? You're that dad right now?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just sometimes I think this is one of my favorite things about this podcast. When we sit together and just talk about some stuff, and then it's kind of realize in the moment, like, chill out, bro, a little bit here.
Yeah.
And that's one of my errors too, I know, as a dad, is like, part of it, I think, to me, the dynamic between us and our children is interesting because your oldest is your daughter. Uh-huh. My oldest is my son. Uh-huh. And I see so much of myself in my son. So much so that I constantly have to remind myself, like, he's not me. And so the things that he does that remind me of me, I can't try to get that out of him now or something. Like, he's his own person.
Yeah,
That's definitely one of my flaws. Like, when I'm around him and he does stuff that I don't like about myself or something that as if that's not allowed or that's not part of that can't be part of your personality or something, is like where I don't dive super into that. I don't subscribe to that, but I sometimes react like that. Like, I don't like that you said that or did that or whatever. Not that that's the conversation with him, but in my mind thinking like, I got to figure out a way to stop that.
Yeah.
When that's going to happen with my daughter and my son. They're going to have parts of your personality or things. And he definitely has shown signs of having anxiety as a kid and just being emotionally very overwhelmed with some things. And that is not one thing that I think don't have that. That's one thing that having children, think, I hope they don't have that, because that's very rough and difficult to deal with.
Sure.
But everybody has something. Everybody's going to have something. And if it is going to be that, maybe that's not so bad, because I can certainly help talk him through that, help him understand those feelings and things.
Somebody who's had it.
Sometimes it's just like today, it was just argumentative. Like, come on, just if he asks me a question and I answer it, that's the end of the question.
Yeah.
He was doing stuff like, can we, we were at the mall and he wanted something, and he does that kid thing where he's like, I kind of really want that. Even though we already established, hey, we're not going to buy anything. We're going to go run a couple errands, and maybe mommy's going to look for some
clothes. Testing the
waters.
Yeah.
I kind of really want. You're like, I'm sure you do, because you want a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
But we already talked about, And then about 10 minutes later, you think maybe if, and it's like, how many ways can you word it to somehow trick me into, like, your age? You're not going to outsmart me. I know what you're doing before you even do it.
Circle back. I just want to take one more gander.
And so today was more about, I think he wanted something, and we're like, well, do you have money for that? Which he does. He has some birthday money and stuff that he had saved. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to buy that for you right now. And that's not what we're here for. Yeah. But if you really want something like that, next time we go to the mall, you could remember to bring your wallet. So if you want something, you can buy it, with your money. That's how
it's all going on Auntie Annie's pretzels.
And so today was, we had stuff on the schedule. We got to go do school pickup, Target pickup, go pick up mommy, get home, do homework, that kind, it's like, that's the day. Yeah, and so he starts asking me, do you think we can go to the mall today? I'll get my wallet when we get home. And I was like, I don't know, man. I can't promise that right now. Yeah. I don't know what I have work to do. I'm sure mommy will still have some work to do, so I can't say yes or no to that right now. So we'll talk to mommy about it, and if it's not today, we'll figure it out. And then it's like 3 more questions about it. How many different ways can he word it to well? And he's like finagling.
I've already got my wallet on me.
Yeah. So what we could do is you could just drop you off, and you can run and grab it, and then mommy could take it. It was like. I don't know.
He's trying to problem solve here.
I know. It's like, I'm trying to figure out just going to get your mom. That's what my brain is doing right now, and I don't have any more room for this.
Singularly right focused. That's incredible.
So, that's what today was.
I have similar. My son definitely has, but he's also 3 and a feral animal boy.
Yeah.
But my daughter does show some signs of being like me in that I have anxiety now, which is fun.
Yeah. Again, congratulations. Welcome to the
adult
club.
onset anxiety. So that's fun. But my daughter, again, I don't know if she has it. They're so young, you can't tell, but show signs of being like me with my ADD, where you talk to her and there's nothing. Again, but some of this can just be 7.
Yeah.
She's almost 7. So she has these moments where she spaces out, and it is one of those things. The second she calls it out, I'm immediately like, all right, I back off. Where I'm just like, what is going on? You're not. And she's like, I don't know. Sometimes my brain just goes somewhere else. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. She said it today. I picked her up from school.
Just as long as you're gonna sit in the front a lot at school, okay? I'm just gonna
front row.
Front row.
You're gonna be tall too, so don't stick your legs out and slouch you'll trip the teacher. I tripped 4 of mine.
4 of your teachers.
Yeah. Put your feet in. And anyway, it was like today. She was coming home from school and she's like, I got in trouble today. And I was like, what'd you get in trouble for? And she was like, I was in dance class and then the teacher was like, Lucy, where are you? What are you doing right now? And she was like, oh, I wasn't paying attention at all. I have no idea. I was thinking about something else. She just said it so matter of fact. And I was like, yeah. Hey, just so you know, that's the rest of your life.
Yeah. And you know what, though, that I think is great? That she acknowledges it and says it.
Yeah.
Because I was the same way when I was a kid. I think it's how it's kind of part of like how our comedian little brains work. It's like I'm constantly thinking of like, what's funny about that? What's funny about that? And next thing you know, it's like, and so in Mesopotamia, Mr. Evan, you're like, because the teacher knows you're not paying attention.
This isn't math class?
You're like, uh-oh. Don't guess.
Yeah.
And don't make up something about how you were. It's better to it'll just be better in the long run to tell you, I'm sorry, my brain went somewhere else. I'm sorry, can you please start again? But then that is the moment when you got to pay attention.
Yeah. Now you got to dial it in.
Then you got to dial it in.
But speaking of her, she's a part of it's not even really a dumb dad moment. It's just this kind of a weird, scary moment thing.
Oh, okay.
So I guess there is like a dumb dad qualifier to start it all off.
Sure.
But
I mean, there always is if you really think about it.
Yeah. But so we went to Aldi's, and everybody's talking about it. The grocery store.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about it. But
no, I've never heard of it.
Really? I'll talk about it after the pod. They can pay for an advertisement. But anyway, new grocery store. Well, not new to us. Like we didn't know about it.
Sure.
And so we're like, we go there. All right, let's just get a couple things. But we're smart enough to know, grab a cart. Because you never get a couple things anywhere. Ever.
True.
Except at like Walgreens.
That is true.
The drugstore, you get a couple things.
Which is always interesting because you do have a kind of a mindset, get a couple things, get out of there. But they give you a receipt as if though you got a lot of things.
Yep, always. It's a big receipt.
It's a scarf, actually, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like when the Grinch like pulls the tape out of in the Grinch cartoon. When he's pulling all the film out of the tape. That's what it looks like. So we go up and their carts are, I guess they must have been dealing with some cart theft because you need to put a quarter in the cart.
What?
Yeah. To unlock it. And then when you park it.
A quarter. A physical
quarter.
U.S. minted quarter.
Yeah.
Like it's a payphone?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well,
who carries quarters?
Here's the difference. You only need 1 quarter. And just keep that in your car because when you go back and you lock it, you get your quarter back.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's insane. So, but it's great because then you just need 1 quarter and just don't lose that quarter. Anyway, we did not have a quarter.
No, I know you didn't.
We didn't.
Who does?
I searched the car knowing I've gone to the car wash like 10 times. And the last 10 times I did not discover a quarter. So I know there's not going to be
fries.
But I'm going to look hard. I didn't find any fries this time. Must have done a
stickers.
good job. Stickers are everywhere.
Oh, that place, yeah.
Yeah. If they took stickers, we'd have 18 carts. So we go in the store. We're just like, it's fine. So I go to the car and I grab like our reusable bags. Because like they just have carts or deal with it.
Yeah,
They
sure.
don't have the hand baskets. It's just like, no.
It's so funny. I can't get over the fact. It
Get a
reminds
quarter.
me when you go to a bar and you order a Moscow Mule, and they have those really cool copper mugs, and they're like, you're gonna leave your ID here?
Your ID.
Because people were like stealing them. So like, you had to leave your ID. I just put it in a glass then if you're that worried about it.
Yeah.
Like,
So anyway, so we go in the store and we just got bags, and it felt weird because I know they don't love it at grocery stores when you put their items in your physical bags.
I've always felt pretty uncomfortable about that.
And it doesn't feel great.
Because I think it's like
they ask you not to. Like some of them have signs. This one I didn't see one, but the other grocery stores I've been to, they have signs like, "Please don't do that."
Maybe you didn't see when all the signs that said you better have a quarter
here's
on
your
you.
quarter.
If you
No
plan on
quarter.
shopping here.
This doorway for idiots who don't have quarters, and it's just really narrow.
It's like squeezed through it
sideways.
Guys, you can barely fit a quarter through.
Yeah.
I see what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so we're going around and we're, of course, picking up tons of things. I mean, we're filling up bag after bag after bag.
Yeah.
So my daughter is like, "Can I help?" And I was like, "Sure." She's like, "I can carry a bag." And we're like, "Love that."
Mm-hmm.
So she takes a bag, and then we're going around. We're just grabbing stuff here and there. Kids in a candy shop, grabbing what we need. And then there was this like, the only way I can think of is like, when you go to like a 7-Eleven and there's those little sliding freezers where like they'll keep like the,
Also
ice cream
at the
bars.
drugstore.
At the drugstore. Yeah, I guess. Usually those are standing freezers. But there's like, the little sliding ones, right?
Yeah, it's like a bin there.
There was a whole line of them. Just like
Uh-huh.
splitting like an aisle kind of thing. But you
Sure.
can obviously see across it because it's only like waist height.
Sure.
Anyway, my daughter's on one side of it. I'm on the other. And I'm just like looking at stuff, talking to her, and my son is with my wife. And I turn around. So my daughter was wearing the shopping bag like a purse, like on her shoulder across to the opposite side of her hip.
Uh-huh.
So at some point, she put her hand through the loop. So now it slips behind her, pulls her to the ground. It's like a freak accident. So now she's kneeling, and this thing is just straight strangling her. Like she's turning purple, and I have to like run around this thing.
How is it like? It's like wrapped around her neck.
Yeah, because part of it is that she's too young to know. Like, get this
Just
thing
turn around.
Get this thing on the floor or turn around, and then the pressure will be off. So she's trying to like
She's
still
panicking.
She's panicking. She's still trying to stand. So now she's just got this weight on her throat that's pulling her from the back.
Oh my god.
She's essentially just choking. And then I yelled, ran around, got the thing off of her. And kind of going back to our frustrated conversation, she starts crying, going, "You yelled at me." And I was like, "I was not yelling at you.
I was
yelled in general.
yelling at the bag.
I was yelling at the cart outside."
I was yelling at the person who submitted the idea in the company meeting for the quarter thing. And then everyone got on board with it.
Say what you will about the Moscow Mule. Would have happily gave him my ID.
Right.
Would have happily done
Check
that.
your ID at the door, get a cart.
Yeah.
Great.
So that was weird and scary. And she had like a red mark across her neck for the whole day. It was like, it was legit.
What?
It was just one of those things. Like she is too young to think it through. So she's pulling against it. That was the thing. It was pulling her back to the ground. And she was pulling against it because she didn't like that. But that was essentially cutting off her air supply.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying.
Defeated by a shopping bag.
Yeah.
That's kids. What? You can't.
They're never safe.
I know. That's what it feels like. They're never safe.
Never safe.
They're never safe. And just when you think it's fine, they get taken down by a canvas tote bag.
Uh-huh.
It's wild, man. I don't. And so anyway, you said you've had anxiety. I don't know. How could you possibly?
I constantly
It's a constant.
feel that heart attack coming on. I wonder when I'm going to get used to that aspect. For those who are new listeners,
The
I
palpitations.
suffered some really, really bad anxiety this past holiday season. Like really, really bad. Had to go to the ER.
Yeah.
So I'm still adjusting to it because I had a little...
Because it's not going anywhere. I'll tell you that right now.
I had a little bit of an episode a couple days ago.
Uh-huh.
And it was just funny how I'm still, understandably, it's only a couple months old, but I'm still not used to it because I remember thinking like, oh man, am I like having a heart attack? And I went, no, you idiot. It's anxiety, which really helps it every time I remind myself. It's not that. It's the pressure of your life caving in on itself, but it's not your heart. So take comfort.
Take comfort in that. If there was somewhere to find solace, it's in the fact that you know you're being ridiculous in the moment, and you just need to get through your moment, and then it will pass, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah. Speaking of anxiety,
okay,
and my daughter, this is a fresh take. This happened tonight. Mm-hmm. I don't know how the conversation started. I wasn't in the room. It was my wife and my 2 kids, and they were talking about, I don't know the name of the show, but there is some dumb show my daughter watches.
I'll pick one, Kevin.
It's really dumb. And it's like these girls, it's like these girls in school, and I think they're fairies. I don't remember, but they just dress like high school girls, but like they are drawn insane. Like, I mean, triangles for the tops of their bodies, like hips come to a point.
It's a cartoon?
Yeah.
I see. So it's artistically, they're going for it, sort of.
Artistic nightmares. Just like, it's just bad for, that bad image for girls to see. It's like every single, including like the headmaster, who's an old woman, has just like a belly that comes like that. Both sides kind of touch each other. It's just so thin there, and then the wrists are just sticks, and then just all this like. So my daughter, I mean, all media does it. This show is to the nth degree, but like all media has done that, and we're doing our best to kind of break that cycle. We don't want our daughter growing up with like, this is an image of how you should look.
Yeah,
we don't want that. Everyone.
I thought you meant they were literal triangle shapes, as if it's like. No, artistically, you're talking about like they all have perfect bodies.
No, not even perfect bodies. Ugh, they're nightmares.
Well, sorry, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant by that.
So anyway, my wife mentioned something about it to her. But here's the thing: my daughter has been loving drawing, especially in the last year. She's been drawing a ton, and she's gone really far. We want to probably put her in like an art class because she's just really naturally pretty good at it.
You got to come take the cartoon class with my son. He loves it.
I think we will. And she's just like really good. The little details that she does, like with the eyes and like the facial expressions, we're just like, that's really strong. And when my father-in-law was living here, who was a really talented artist, he was also just like, she's got real talent. There's definitely something going on here. She's good. Anyway, she draws all of her characters that way and has for a while. So my wife makes the comment about the show, and then my daughter, this was like one of the first times maybe it's not the first time, but it was one of the first times I noticed of a fight kind of, what is it? Immovable object in an unstoppable force moment. Because my daughter was like, so you're saying you hate my drawings?
Yeah.
So
it's like, don't hear what I'm not saying.
So my wife called me in for backup, and we both did our best, fumbled through it, trying to explain to her, all the things of like, you love the violin, like she really wants to maybe start taking violin lessons. And I was like, why do you like the violin? Where did that come from? And she was just kind of like, well, I saw it and I think it's cool and it sounds beautiful. I was like, great, you saw it and it inspired you.
Yeah.
If all you ever see are girls that look like this, you're going to think that girls need to look like this. And you might not look like this, and that's going to make you feel bad about yourself. There's nothing wrong with your drawings. It's just if that's the only thing you draw and the only way you see women, that's going to be a problem for you down the road. And then she's like, so my drawings are terrible.
Yeah, I know it's hard because I see what you're trying to do, what you're trying to explain to her, but like those are the kinds of things I think are hard to talk about with kids. But it's like you have to understand a lot to even enter into this conversation,
right?
And she doesn't understand any of that a lot, like and that's not her fault and not your fault.
No, and we discussed that. We said my wife and I had a conversation after the fact, and it was. this is not going to be a one-time sit down.
Yeah,
it might not
exactly.
even be a sit down ever again. It's going to be like, you're going to have to grind at this. We're going to have to like keep bringing it up, sprinkling in the thoughts here and there just to like kind of reinforce that way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny that it kept coming back to the drawings because it was like, oh my God, I don't care about that.
I know. I don't care about it. You don't care about my drawings?
Yeah,
like, oh my God. It's like,
okay, go to bed.
I know, because they're also, she doesn't even at that age know how to analyze a conversation correctly.
Right.
Or to fully, so like she's going to hear a word that you say a different way than you meant it, and then she can't let go of that. And then it's like the whole point's lost anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so hard sometimes to teach your kid something simple that you think you could teach them, but it's like the conversation goes a completely different way, and you're like, this is nothing. I didn't mean any of this.
Isn't it so funny how, not necessarily impatient, but like, yeah, impatient's not the necessarily the wrong word for it, but isn't it funny how quickly you become impatient when you can talk to your kids?
Yeah.
Because before you could talk to them, you had all the patience in the world.
Yeah.
They're still not walking yet. They're still not talking. All these little things. You're just like, it's fine. You'll get there. You'll get there. Once you can have a conversation, you're just like, how are you not getting this the first time?
I said it out loud to you.
I said the words. They went in your ears. You kind of repeated it back. What are we doing?
I know. It really is that. And
it's so unfair.
That's another one of the things that you have to remember. It's like when I'm talking to my son or something, like he doesn't understand like social dynamics or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
He
But there is a good aspect to that because they don't understand, because she doesn't understand why girls are drawn that way.
Yeah.
What for lack of maybe it's the perfect term, maybe it's not, the kind of malicious intent put behind these drawings, how all girls, almost all females are drawn a certain way in art.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand the dynamics of that, but that can almost be a positive because in a way you can kind of just lead her towards knowing, or him, whoever, towards knowing like, that's kind of non-inclusive. That kind of is a bummer. Like, for all the people out there, you've got friends in school who look different than you, or different shapes and sizes, right? And she's like, yeah. I was like, that's going to be a bummer for them if all they see is that. They don't see themselves in that. That's a bummer. So in a way, the non-social dynamic can actually be an advantage because you just kind of just plant the seed of just the basics of it, of just like, that stinks. They don't get to necessarily enjoy that as much as you.
So what you're saying is none of my friends are going to like my drawings either, is what you're saying.
I hate your drawings.
Yeah, your drawings are awful. This reminds me of this. So my son, who's 8, for his birthday, he said he really wanted to get his ear pierced.
Uh-huh.
Now, I got both my ears pierced when I was 19.
Okay.
And
really sticking it to your parents. Cool.
Yeah. Take that, Mom and Dad. I'm moving out and I'm making a decision for myself. So I never got any tattoos or anything. Not that I'm against that. Probably will have a tattoo at some point.
Okay.
Got my ears pierced when I was 19.
You think you get a tattoo at some point?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not against it. I'm picky. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I've worn a little earring in my left ear for like, I don't even know. The thing is, like, at this point, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
It's just I've worn it. I liked it. I never take it out. Of course, my son sees that and thinks like, I want to get my ear pierced.
Sure.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I was pretty against it when my wife brought it up to me that he said I want to get my ear pierced. And the only reason I was like a little bit
of you pushing back on things that he's like you.
Yeah. Mostly because I was like, he doesn't know that he doesn't want it or does want it.
Uh-huh.
It's like, because he's like, he gets excited, which is fine. He's like, I like this necklace. This is a cool necklace. He wears it for like a half an hour. He gets a Harry Potter bracelet that he loves. He thinks it's so cool. Uh-huh. He wears it for like 2 hours and then he takes it off and it's like, doesn't know where it is anymore. And then he finds it 2 days later and he wears it for a half an hour. And it's like, how are you going to wear an earring in your ear and not want to take it out in 2 hours?
Sure.
And so we're trying to figure out how do we do that? We kind of came up with the idea, like, why don't we get them, like, I think they make them, they do, like magnetic earrings. Because I think a clip-on it's going to feel weird, not the same way.
Right.
But give him like a magnetic one and see how long he can go wearing it. If it's even a thing.
Yeah.
You know, what I like about it so much is that he's only 8 and that he's like, he's going to go for a look.
Sure.
He wants his hair to go like down past one of his eyes. He wants to like have his bangs, like have his like not a faux hawk, like your hair to like come down over your eye. He wants to like, he thinks it's like going to look cool. Yeah. Great. Do it now. Figure yourself out as much as you want.
You have
right
until
now.
10.
You have until 10. And then you decide on a look.
And that's who you are. That is your identity.
You're not changing it. So I love it. It's so funny to watch. And like that's the thing. Like so funny to watch. So we teach our kids like, sure, dress yourself. I know you do that with your kids as well. Yeah, put your own outfit together. I only say something if he's like, what do you think? And I think, that's a lot of shades of red. What do you mean? Well, then you start a little bit like, well, certain colors complement each other, but if you're wearing all red, it's a big, strong statement if you want to go with that. And then it's like, I think I might go change my pants. Like, okay. But I love that about like now, and I think that's so important now, especially with kids, like go for it. Make a look. Tell me what you want your hair to look like. We'll cut it that way. You want to get your ear pierced? Okay. I want you to understand it's going to hurt like hell for somebody like you. And then you're going to have to, I mean, the thing is like the responsibility of it. That's partially where my mind went to. Like, is he going to be really like cleaning it that much? Like, I don't know. It just felt like that feels like a big decision to make it 8. Uh-huh. But if he doesn't like it, it can also grow back. And that's part of me. I was like, so what do I care that much? Like, if he really wants it and he's been thinking about it for so long.
That's kind of,
then go for it. Like the same thing happened this week. My daughter, as now we sit here, I have my nails painted, like 4 different shades of colors. On Fridays, our little ones don't have preschool. So I get home from dropping my son off. My daughter goes, Dad, I want to paint your nails. And I was like, okay. So we get all set up. And then she's like, we need a mask and we need cucumbers. So
okay.
My wife goes and gets cucumbers. She's cutting the cucumbers with scissors and putting them on my little girl. And like, my wife already cuts her like dices cucumbers for little circles, and then she takes scissors and cuts them smaller with scissors. And puts them on my eyes, and then just starts painting my toes, my fingers. Of course, sloppy. It's everywhere, changing colors. But like, by all means, paint them. This is like 4 days ago. Didn't wipe it off. Partially because I don't really care.
Sure. Also,
I don't want to just paint my nails and then wipe it off 10 minutes later. Like I can't be seen like this.
Sure.
But also, like, I don't know, there's nothing to lose here. Somebody says, like, what's with the nails? Like, my daughter painted them. Like, it's a sense of pride. Like, she painted these for me. She wants them to look like this. And like, they look insane.
Where do you go that anyone's gonna say what's with the nails?
I don't know.
The playground.
It's probably gonna be a kid. What's with the nails? Like, she painted them.
That's true.
You don't like it? Don't make an appointment. But if she's really nice, I got cucumbers in my eyes. I'll tell you that much. I had butter soft skin after the mask she put on.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. She's
I think
mayonnaise. She used real mayonnaise as the mask. Just lathered it on. Also with scissors.
Still greasy. But I think it's part of the fun of having kids this age is guiding them through stuff like that, the drawings and things, but also allowing them to just, whatever. What do you think? What do you experience? How do you see things? It's kind of sometimes it probably feels like a finer line than it really is.
I try to throw it back at my kids. My daughter gets dressed. My son doesn't say anything yet. He just walks in the room, and you have to compliment him. The look on his face of just beaming pride when he's got.
I know you don't want to crush his confidence. It's not your job.
My daughter, I throw it back at her. She's like, how do I look? I don't want her to base her, again, kind of back to the drawings thing. Don't want to base her, whatever, how she feels about how she dresses off of what other people think. So I just try to throw it back at her. She's like, how do I look? And I go, I don't know. How do you feel about how you look? And she's just like, no, how do you look? And I go, you first, and I'll tell you what I think. And I try to get an answer out of her first, and she's like, I love it. I was like, I love that you love it. I try to leave it there.
I love that you love it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of patterns, but that's all I'm going to say.
She gets a lot of compliments. Parents are like, I love it. Did you dress yourself? And I was like, oh yeah. It's yeah. It makes mornings so much easier.
That's true. I don't
That's
care
great.
what you put on.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Let's leave in 5 minutes.
I'm gonna groan into my coffee cup. You go ahead and get dressed.
Yeah. It's mostly just like, are you going to be warm enough? Is it
yeah.
comfortable enough? Is it like literally something you should be wearing out of the house? That kind of thing. But other than that, like, yeah, go for it. Yeah. Whatever you want.
I think that's a good place to leave it.
It's a pretty good place to leave it. I mean, I think the reason why I brought up the nails thing too is because I thought like we spent the first like 30 minutes like complaining about our kids or talking about our kids. But there's certain things that they do and experiences that they teach us without knowing it that I appreciate.
Yeah.
And why I love being a dad so much and stuff like that. Like, Dad, I want to paint your nails. Great.
Yeah.
I get you are my priority today, so
yeah.
Sure. Go for it.
Sure. It's pretty good.
What I don't understand is that I'm not allowed to paint hers. She likes to play the salon owner, as she calls it. She calls it salon. The salon owner, or the come to my salon, and cucumbers on the eyes. She asks Mommy for a face mask, so they open it up, put it on my face, and I'm just laying there getting my nails did. And then I'm like, oh, I would love to have you have a chance now. No. I mean, it's like not even, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Which I don't get.
It was your idea.
It's like,
doesn't like it. It's your idea.
Can Mommy put, nope. No. Like, no. I'm a purist, okay?
She's like, no, you look ridiculous right now. I don't want to look like that. I basically painted you like a clown. And you took it.
The clown that you are.
You let it happen. By the way, that'll be $43 for the... Guys, if you have a dumb parent moment that you'd love to share, email us. We're the dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or where you can DM us on Instagram, where we're at the Dumb Dads, which is at the Dumb Dads is also our handle on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, where you can watch full episodes of this podcast. You can watch it, which is great. But please rate and review this podcast if you haven't already. It really helps us.
Rate and review the podcast, and if you do watch it, hit subscribe so you get notified when we post on YouTube, or when we not only when we post we post other content. We post our sketches and stuff on there as well. So
check it all out. We got some other exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. Thanks to @Verdu on SoundCloud for the music, for the beats, and thanks as always to my lovely wife Annie for editing this podcast. Evan.
Yes.
Before you tell a joke.
Before I disappoint you.
Before you disappoint me, I made up a dad joke to my son today.
Oh, you did? Well, what are we doing? I can't even read this out loud. You tell me the joke.
So we were playing. He's got these matching, the matching game. You know, the little cards, and it's Jurassic World themed. It's Jurassic Park themed. It's just like across the all 6 movies. So like the card will have like the baby raptor, or one of them is the T-Rex chasing the Jeep.
Okay.
And it's a really cute one.
Yeah.
And I asked my son, I said to him, hey, why do you think that T-Rex wants to eat that Jeep?
Why? I don't know. Why?
Because he's a carnivore.
Oh.
I mean,
and he's
the silence that followed.
There's no way he got that.
He went,
like, that's a Jeep. How could a car be made of leaves and vegetables if it's not a car? What? It's your turn, by the way.
Carnivore's meat. Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?